Hello everyone, this is Debbie from Ink and Page, and I'm here today with a new Junk Journal July video. Today is day 23, and we are on book. If you would like to get the printables that I'm about to use in this video, you can just sign up in the link below, and I will send you everything you need to get started, and then you'll get everything else in the future as it comes out. We have quite a bit released already though, so you'll be very, very busy. Okay, so for today is book, and of course I have like a million ideas for this one. I did make a lot of ephemera for this prompt in particular, so I pulled some of this stuff out. So I'm going to show you what I have here. Okay, so yesterday I made a masterboard. I have what I made. I have all of that ephemera that's pink. I don't have the blue, I just have the pink. And then I cut out the journal cards from the kit that was released on Monday, and I picked out the ones that were book themed, and then I have this one with the door, okay, because I kind of feel like it kind of looks like, you know, I don't know, but anyway, so I picked these ones out because they were the ones I thought that most closely resembled the books. And then I have these here, which are the fussy cut large fussy cut books. There are other fussy cuts that have books in them, but I wanted to put at least 2 of these into my journal. So the first thing I'm going to do is create some pockets or side tucks into my journal with these fussy cuts here. And then what I would like to do is make like a little mini flip-flop book with the tags from yesterday and incorporate at least 1 or maybe 2 of these journal cards. If you did not make a masterboard yesterday for whatever reason, or you don't have like anything to use, you can use just the printables for these journal cards to make your flip-flop book, okay? So you don't need anything additional. All you need is literally a couple pieces of paper if you don't have the printables printed, or you can print the printables and use those. I'm going to incorporate these into my book. I'm going to use a tag shape. I'm probably going to turn one of these into a tag, but you could also do this with a rectangle. It does not matter. You could do it with a bunch of circles if you wanted. So don't feel like you don't have the stuff for it. I just want to kind of reiterate that. I want to make sure that, you know, everybody knows you got the stuff for it. So, and this is where I am in it right now. This is my spread for movement, which was not yesterday, but the day before. And I do have this blank page across from movement. So that is one of my, I think I'm going to go ahead and add this onto this page as kind of like a side tuck. And I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to like do it like this and then trim the edge, or if I want to just put the whole thing on there. So let me take this little band off here, because this is what actually keeps my journal open so I can work on it. But I won't be able to, you know, obviously do that with this. So what I wanted to do is I also have a blank page here, which I feel like might be a good candidate for this one here. So yeah, I just thought I would install a couple of these. I have this page too, but this already has a pocket on it. So yeah, I'm not sure like which pages I want to use entirely. Like some of these I don't. Let me do that one on. Okay, that has stuff. So yeah, I'm not going to make you guys go through my whole journal with me, but let's go ahead and put this one on this page. I want to put this on the edge because my intention today is to make, okay, so I'm going to put it on the edge of this page, and then, I'll trim it, because I want to have it on the edge there like that. Okay, so my intention today is to make the flip-flop book and then be able to put it in the pocket. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to make myself a couple of marks on here because I don't want to over glue, and I'm going to put the glue on the page instead of on this because I'm going to put it off the edge of the page and then trim it just so that it can be like even with the edge of this paper here. Okay, so I'm going to grab my glue. So this is like, you know, the simple version of the book prompt, and then we can do a more complicated one by building ourselves a little mini book. And I think it's really easy to build a little mini book out of just ephemera pieces that are already coming, like, say, in a kit. You know, like a lot of, if you're not already familiar with, like, my journal kits, like, they're pretty similar to what you get in the free ephemera. The free ephemera just comes over a month versus getting it all at once if you buy one, you know, from my shop. But, like, you'll always get journal cards and fussy cuts. And that's pretty standard, I think, across the board with most journal kits that you buy. Okay, see, that's not even that much that I have to cut off there. Okay, so I'm going to let this glue dry here on this one, and then we'll come back and trim it off. And then in the meantime, like, this is kind of really, this really complements that right there. I'm thinking. Now, this was not my intention, but I'm wondering about possibly incorporating like this belly band from yesterday in this to make this pocket a little bit bigger. I'm not sure. I think I want to cut it. So there is no graph paper on it. I just think it would be nice if it was a little bit bigger. Like, see, this is going to be too short. So I don't think I have, okay, so I wasn't planning on using the blue today, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm just going to cut this so it's a little bit narrower, and I'm probably going to cut it so it's shorter. Let me just see how this goes on here. That just gives me this. I can just layer this on top of this, so it's not like, yeah, I think that's pretty good. Okay, so, okay. Leave it to me. I'm off script already. Okay, so I've got a couple of thoughts here. Okay, so this, yeah, I'm going to make this like one continuous pocket, but I'm going to glue this together, and I'm just going to add a little something in there. It's probably going to be just a little bit of this mummy cloth here, just to have something in the background behind this, you know? Okay. Alright, so let's just lay this down on here and see how this looks. Because, oh, you know what would look really good, actually? Let me see. Check it out. I have a book page. So, okay, let's go ahead and get a piece of this in there too, because that's like on theme, right? With the book page and the books. So I feel like that's a good addition here. I want to take this off, I think. Okay, let's see. So I'll put this underneath. Let's grab this here. Okay, this was supposed to be the simple version of the project, so I'm not really sure. I'm already off the rails. Okay, so let's see how this looks like this, and then we'll put this on here. I can't get that to lay flat. Come on. Okay, so I want that to be like offset of this, that to be offset of this. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm just gonna glue stick this for ease and speed. Okay, so I'm gonna glue this on here just so it's a little bit over the pattern, and then I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but we're gonna give it a shot. This is gonna go over the book text. And then that's gonna go like on top of both of these. So I'm gonna put glue on here. And then I'm just gonna line up all the bottoms there. Okay, and now I'm gonna just trim off the extra mummy cloth, and we can just use this in the little flip book that we're gonna do in just a second. Okay, I need to decide if I'm gonna trim that or not. I just can't decide if I should cut this off or not. I think I'm gonna leave it, and I'm gonna trim this just slightly because I don't like how that thing is doing that weird business there. And I'm just gonna fray that up. There we go. Okay, so then let's go ahead and use the normal like white glue. This is Nuvo Deluxe, and it's in the My Sweet Petunia precision glue press, which I'm just mentioning for the new people. Everybody who has been here before knows about the glue press, but the glue press is great for people who have any sort of hand pain or like don't have a ton of strength in their hands. I frequently have thumb pain, which I mentioned before, and it's just takes my thumbs completely out of the game, which is fantastic for them. It means they don't hurt. You know, it's great. Okay. And I know a lot of you guys have gotten this, and you know, it's been a game changer. Okay. All right. So, okay, great. Like, this is great. I actually like this one better than my other one. So maybe, no, I don't think my book's going to go in there, though, because this one is the pinkish one, and my book is primarily going to end up being pink, I'm pretty sure, because I'm going to use all the pink stuff. From yesterday, and then I'm just trimming this off right now. Okay. There we go. Right, and what I could do though is make this a little nicer by adding like maybe some, I could add a word, or like, see I have this one here, it's wonder, and we can put a little bit of that mummy cloth behind it, and that was Pickle, sorry. I know you guys have been asking for pictures. I am going to, I will do like we have quite the menagerie here, but like Pickle's a puggle, and which means he's the beagle and pug mix, but he looks like a pug. So it's so funny because he's got like I think he's got like 4 brothers and sisters. We adopted him from a medical rescue. He was part of a litter of puppies where the like mom was like literally dumped on their doorstep, and he has probably the most personality of all of them, but other ones look a lot like beagles. He's really the only one that looks like a pug. I guess There might be one or two of the other ones that look like a pug, but he's got, like, they all have, like, he's got the correct body proportions, let's put it like that. They all have, like, funny legs. Okay, so let's get a book page piece here to go behind that, and then we're in business. And then I'm going to move on to the little flip-flop book. We've made a bunch of these flip-flop books, like, as, like, projects, and they are some of my favorites to do. They're just super fun. They're super easy. They're endlessly, like, customizable, you know, like, seriously, just all the time. You can do whatever you want, you know, like, you're never in a situation where, oh, I didn't add enough pages, you know, because you can always add more pages. Okay, so let's see. Let's make this the back. I don't usually glue this with a glue stick, but we're going to see. We're doing a little experiment here. See if it works. I find the Fabri-Tac to be just so gooey. Okay. Alright, and then I've got this here that says Wander. I think I thought it said Wonder when I picked it up, but I think Wonder's fine. Yeah. Because books let you wander with your imagination. Okay. There you go. And now I feel like this is taking this up a notch here, in terms of, like, being boring, and now it's not quite as boring as it was. Okay, we are going to stick our book in here too, so that's, you know, a consideration. Okay, so I'm going to put this guy away. That stuff should dry while we work on our book. Okay, so this is going to be pretty easy construction here. I discovered when I was looking through the stuff that these are, like, pretty much descending sizes, even though they're not exactly. The width situation is a little wonky, but I thought I could just add in. I don't want to make this too complicated, right? But I thought I could just add in okay, so I thought I could add in, like, at least one of these to make, like, 4 pages. And then I could back the other ones with this, if that makes sense. Like, I just printed a random background page on this, and of course I printed it upside down. So that's going to drive me personally crazy, so I need to put something on the back of it. So that's why I pulled a bunch of these other ones out. Like, this one will be really good for putting on the back of something. I might put it on the back of this one, actually, because I can get most of the journal card on here. And then I have a bunch more. I cut all of the ones out. So, okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue a couple of these on the backs of the tags that I already have, so that my book can be double-sided, you know. Because I didn't know what I was doing when I printed something on the back of this. And I don't know what made me print the maps. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, so I'm just going to print this on here. And then on the back of everything for today, I printed the wood. So I just have just the wood on the back of everything. Okay, so now I'm just going to trim these guys. And I might actually I think I'm going to put a book page at least on one of them, maybe 2 of them, for the backs. And then that will give us the, you know, opportunity to be able to decorate those a little bit. It's a little bit harder to decorate them when you already have a pretty picture on the back of it. So, okay. So I have this one and this one. So let me grab a book page here. Okay, so let's go ahead and put book pages on the back of both of these. I got a couple, so I can just glue these on here. And this particular book has very wide margins, which is awesome because you can save the margin parts and stamp on them. And this book isn't even that old. It unfortunately got a little bit of water damage, so it does have some like yellowing edges, which for crafting is perfect, you know. All right, and then once I have this done, we can put some pockets and stuff on these, and then we'll attach them all together. Okay, so there's this one. This did not get very much glue right here, I think. Okay, and now I'm going to do this one. Then we need a different page for that. The thing about book pages is they're double-sided, so if they peek over, at least you're seeing just print, you know. Okay, so we could possibly use some of those leftovers as well. Okay, so now I've got this and this. This is probably going to be my back. This is probably going to be my front because I want to go kind of in descending order. Okay, so I think I will make this. So I'll put this like this one, and then let's decide. Yeah, okay, so I think this is how I'll do this. I think I need to, I'm going to trim this just slightly, so it falls in line with about the same, like, size as this tag. Maybe slightly smaller. I can trim it on this side here because the book kind of is closer to this edge. Right, let me check and see. Okay, and I'll trim a little bit off the top. And I'm just eyeballing that. I'm not measuring because, you know, I don't want it to look exactly like I, you know, measured it to be like that. So, okay. So now I just need to turn this into a tag, which you know, you could or couldn't. It could be let's see here. It could just be a journal card too. Okay, so when these go together, they'll fold together like this, in like an accordion. Okay, so, all right, so now, the back of it, because this is going to be the back of this will be the back of it, so that's why I put the image on there. Okay, so now I need to decide about the front of this, okay, because it definitely needs something on the front of it. And I'm not opposed to cutting up some more of these if I need to. I think this will be good for ephemera. Okay, so I love this hand holding the rose. It's not super bookish, but I do have a bunch of tags and stuff in this kit that I really like that one. Oh, that's good. So I can just kind of stay on theme here. These guys are cute too, though. And I am considering, okay, so I said, yeah, there are, this would be a great tuck spot, wouldn't it? There are like other books in the kit too. I'm just gonna pull out a couple flowers too in case I want to add those. There's a butterfly. Oh, and I wanted to use this. Okay, I'm giving, I don't know, I'm borderline giving myself too many options here, I think. Okay, so I went through there, I pulled out a bunch of stuff. Here's another flower. This might be good for the cover here. I'm gonna ink that guy. And then I'm going to get a little bit of pink thread, I think, from my stash of pink thread. I kind of wish I'd gotten out some burlap, but I did not. Okay. I love making little pink thread nests, or thread nests in general. They don't have to be pink. I probably have too much there. I'm wondering about adding a little bit of like the tea-dyed stuff in, or I could add in a little bit of lace. This is too short. I wonder if I need like a darker pink. This is awesome. This is almost like thicker thread. Okay. I don't think that matches the color on here. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm futzing around with thread. I think that, like, these don't need a ton of work, you know, because they're already decorated. That's kind of purple. I'm wondering if this is the wrong shape. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe a pocket, actually. Although this might look really cute on the back of this. I think I'm going to go on the back with this one. I was also hoping to incorporate a little bit more green into this, so I'm thinking I could maybe just put like some ephemera in here just to like add to the green, you know, just like that leans more green actually. So that would be the, and then I could also put in, like, I have postcards left over from postcard day, so that could be an option for in here. Or actually, should I put this in? That's too big. I think there's a smaller one. Or I could end up with a flower in here. I don't know, that's cute, huh? Okay, so there's that. I think I'm gonna go to this on the front instead. And then perhaps this too, just to go with it. Okay, I like it. I love it. Let's glue it down. I know my mind changes constantly, but I guess that's the way it is with this kind of stuff, right? You just keep trying different stuff until you find what you like. Oops, I want to put ink on this too. Here we go. Oh, it's also, I had some stamping left over from yesterday too that I was hoping to incorporate in here. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I think what would be good on here is some kind of like text or something. So let me work on that. I have all my stuff in here that is like, oh, like all the words from the kit. Oh, this one says wonder. That's probably the... I could use Haven. I think I cut all the words out twice by accident. That's what you get, right? Okay. Because I used that word on my other spread for movement. Yeah, I totally have all these printed out. These all cut. I cut them all twice too. Go me. Okay. When I was doing it, I was like, this feels very familiar. Okay, so I have this here. I still need... Okay. Let's see here. I also cut myself... Or not cut myself, I printed myself an extra piece of this background paper that I used for the background of the Masterboard from yesterday. Sorry. I'm doing like 3 things at once. I think they say that if you do that, you don't do a good job on all of them. Okay, I had these. I made that cluster with these the other day. I think it's in there somewhere. Okay, so I think I'll just trim the stem on this. I'm going to... I'll put both glue and I think a piece of tape over the flowers. This is not going to be conducive for inside of a journal. Okay, so let me just grab a piece of, let's see. I need a piece of like neutral tape, I think. This is white, it should do. Because I'm going to glue over the top of this, but I don't want it to like show up, you know what I mean? There we go. Okay, so let's just go ahead and ink this. I'll trim this cloth too. I just want to put it on there and then trim it. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is going to be my front, which is like got way crazier than I thought it would. Okay, so that'll be an inside. Let's put something on the back of this. I could, you know what? This might make a super cute pocket. Okay, under normal circumstances, I would probably sew this, but because like I'm not gonna, you know, it's like I'm in the middle of a video. I'm not gonna get up and sew, so I'm gonna try the Fabri-Tac on this and see if that will do the trick for a pocket made out of this stuff. What I can do is clip this around the edge just to make sure that it... Sorry about my arm there. I know it makes... I always hate it when I'm editing because it makes me look like I have gigantic arms. Okay. Oh, let's trim this off here. Right, and then I can decide what I want to put in there. I don't feel like this needs a whole lot on it. I would like a little cluster maybe. I really, really, really want to use this little tiny doily. So I could just do like a little tiny cluster on there, on the front of this with that. Let me just take a quick look at what I've got for these shoe eyes. This would be good if I had a pocket, huh? Okay, so this is the picture. So I probably will just do a little bit of decorating on this one so as not to kind of overshadow the book. Okay. Okay, so let's see what we got here. I'm thinking this is the back, huh? I'm thinking about a pocket, I have to be honest. Okay. And I am possibly, this might be a good candidate for the pocket. It's the right size. It must have been cut from the same piece. I wonder if that's too short for a pocket right there. I could turn it this way and use that piece. Okay, let's do that. I want to get my like bigger scissors for that cut. I'm going to cut just inside the lace here. So the Masterboard is pretty handy for a bunch of different stuff because you can just keep cutting it up, you know? All right, I got that. I'm hoping my cut was a little bit crooked, so I'm hoping it's not going to be super obvious. I think it helps that the wood grain is back there. All right, so let me put a little bit of glue on here. And this is moving right along. And hopefully this is, I hope this is helping you to see like how you can create yourself a little mini book or a little flip book. This could even be a full-sized flip book, you know, if you wanted to just use bigger pieces of paper out of just a kit, you know, like a paper, like not like a folio kit, basically. You know, I know like folio kits are great to have and they're fun to make as well. So like, but this is just like a, you know, like a illustration of how you could do it if you didn't have a folio kit, or if you wanted to have a folio kit for something that doesn't have a folio kit, you know. Although you guys, I have to say, like, this is making me think of Bramblewood Blooms. I have never had so many requests for a full kit of something in my life. So I've had so many requests for that kit to be turned into like a big kit. So that will be forthcoming. You know, obviously like with Junk Journal July here, I'm usually pressed for time, but I am working on it. So hopefully you guys will be seeing that pretty soon. I hope that's going to be okay with, that's really like bumpy right there. But we could maybe do some herbs. I also cannot forget that I have my other neutral ones. So they might be candidates for going in here if I just add a little bit of, this one might be too big for this pocket. I could add a little bit of pink on here and have this be more into the theme of this kit. You know, it might even be a pretty simple task to do that. Okay, so the whole point of this, I think, was for me to get this tag in there. But I was just thinking, you know, oh, could I incorporate something from that other kit as well? And I think I can. I think I could add some pink to that too. All right, this has to be dry, so I'm going to take those off. All right, I'm going to try to neaten myself up here just a tad so that it's, I just want it to be clear what I'm doing and not having a whole bunch of chaos around. Okay, so that's this side. I really like this just the way it is, so I'm going to leave that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, okay, there's this. This could be a candidate for this as well, though. That doesn't show up as well in there. Okay, so let me turn this one over. Okay, so this needs something inside of it. And just to reiterate, for this, I'm basically just using stuff that is from the kit and also some book pages. So, like all the images and like tag type things that you see are all things that came mostly from this week's kit. I don't know if I've used anything from one of the previous ones yet. That's probably too green. I wish I'd made those a little pinker. Although, oh, you know what? Let's use this. And, you know, right now, this is pretty much me just going through and adding ephemera to the pockets. Oh, that's great. Okay. And, you know, putting, like, I'm almost at final touches point. I still need to do something with these two. This I already have. I wish this postcard was bigger. I think the only postcard I have left is like really big. But I could get a tag for in here too. Just ink these guys around the edges. I'm also going to, I lost my roller. Whenever I try to clean anything up, I lose something. Okay, here we go. One of the things that I do or try to do is use books that I love in my crafting. It helps because I know what's in the book, for starters, and second, every time I look at the text, I feel happy because I see the words, you know, and I'm like, oh, I know those words, you know, it just makes me feel happy. Okay, so before I go any further with anything here, what I want to do is attach these so that I know what's going with what and how it's going to look, okay? So, let's see. We're going to start with this one, and we're going to attach it to this one. And I want to attach these opposite, if that makes sense. So, like Masterboard side, back side, Masterboard side, and then the book page side. Same thing here. So, you know, whatever the Masterboard, I'll alternate the Masterboard side, okay? All right, and then this one doesn't have the Masterboard, so. All right, so now, to attach these, you can pretty much use whatever you want. You could use fabric, you could use washi tape, you can use little pieces of like paper to hinge it together. It really, it's completely up to you what you want to use, and it just depends on how you want it to look and that sort of thing. I'm trying to decide here. What I should use. I do like using fabric tape to hinge these together. It's just like you can't always find it in the exact right color that you want it to be in, you know? So sometimes you have to compromise. Sometimes when I do these books, what I will do is I'll use like a piece of paper across here. So it'll be a pocket here and a pocket here, and then that pocket will form the hinge, which is a good way of assembling these things together. You could tab bind it too. I'm cutting up some silk pieces right now because I'm thinking about doing that. See if I can fray this. I am a little sad I'm going to have to cover up these roses. But I could also, put a little bit of a lace border on there or something as well, just to kind of disguise the hinge here as more of a border, if that makes sense. Like it was like a layer on the design. And since this is already pretty like layered as a design, adding one more layer on here isn't going to be like super odd, you know? So I have this on here. I just have to give this a minute to dry. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here. I just cut myself like some very crooked strips of paper, I have to admit, or paper of fabric. I just had a small piece of silk and I just cut that up into 4 pieces. The other thing I thought about using was like the chiffon ribbon, if you had any of that. Or just any old fabric that you have. I wasn't sure like what would match mine. Oops. I got a thread in there. Okay. I just have to wait for this glue to dry. There's like a little bit of this sticking out. Okay. All right, let's do the last one here. I'm going to cut this one a little bit smaller, I think, because this front tag is smaller. I wonder if I'll do 2. Thanks. Depending on how tall your actual book is, you could make these longer or you could make 2 just like I did there. I do want to add something on here that's lighter so that it goes like with the tone of the rest of the thing, because I feel like this is kind of off color-wise. So let me just see about adding maybe either book page I could also I could just add a couple of elements that I've used on the other pages, you know, to kind of bring everything together. So I have a piece of this left over, because we could even go, oh, we could even, I cut this book page horizontal. You know what I think would work, actually? Okay, I'm gonna cut this in half. Actually, I think I'm gonna trim this so it's not straight. Okay. Alright, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this across the top here. And then we're gonna take the other piece, put it across the bottom. Okay, so let me just ink that up. And then I'll just trim those edges off. I could even have wrapped that around there, huh? I could have used book pages. Maybe that would have been smarter. I could still put some book pages over the... Flopping this around after just recently gluing it is probably not the best idea. The glue seems to be holding up though, so I'm looking out there. Okay, so now what else am I gonna do here? I think I'll add that on the bottom. I have a little bit of this, well, I have a lot of bit of this pink washi tape. I'm wondering about putting just a little bit of it up at the top there. I don't know if that's going to make it, if that's too pink, but we'll see. You can always take it off if we don't like it. That's the glory of washi tape. But it is right here, so I'm thinking. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit more of it there. And then I'm just going to like go around and add these little pieces in wherever. And that better not be dry. Is it because that... Oh, I took the ephemera out of there. I really want to staple that on there. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm probably making this video take like 15 times longer than it needs to. I did. Got a good glue up there. Okay, so I just took a few minutes here to finish this guy up and add just like some little bits and pieces. I wanted like to bring these guys in and have like shabby bits on there too. I still would like to add my doily onto here, but I need to get something like to go on it, you know? So I'm not sure what that's going to be yet. Or it could even go on here now because I added the book page. So there would be contrast. So I do want to add that in there, but I'm not sure how. So I think that is this. And let's go ahead and stick it in the journal. Okay, so I probably should have cleaned my desk off first, but you know how that goes. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go find, oh, here we go. Now, if you wanted to too, you could cut these in half and just have, you know, books that are like 2, you know, or 3. So it just depends. And then let's see here if I can do this. Oops, that one is folded in wrong, I think. Yeah, because that's folded in there like that. So this can actually go into the pocket like that. It doesn't, like the whole thing doesn't need to go into the pocket. This definitely needs something else on the page. I'm just going to grab a paper clip here so I can clip this. I just don't want it to like flop around right now. But yeah, so you could just stick it in by one piece. You don't need to stick it in by the whole thing. So that like, you know, when you're flipping through it, this is like now way more like, woo, there it is, right? Plus the pocket doesn't have to hold as much stuff. And since this is more of a tuck style pocket, this kind of situation works a little bit better for that. So, okay, so tomorrow is window, and I'm pretty set on doing like a window page. So I'm not exactly sure I'm going to do it yet, but there's this like really big image of a window in there that I really want to use for that. So we've got that for tomorrow, and then I think that is all. If you could like the video, I would appreciate it. And subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you tomorrow for window.